So my first impressions of Monica. So we had a very interesting start in our relationship for a lot of different reasons. She was previously married. She was older than me. She had kids from her previous marriage. I was only 20 when we got together. And I grew up without a dad and was put in a position to have an instant family. One of the things that I picked up early on in our friendship was she was very kind, very genuine, kind person. At that point in my life, I had never met a woman like her. She was very special, very different than anything that I was used to or ever experienced before. A lot of times when I'm explaining our relationship or how I felt, because I had people ask me before, like, why did you get married so young? Or how did you know that you were ready to settle down? How did you know that this was the woman that you wanted to settle down with? The closest thing to what I felt that I can put into words is actually a scripture, Matthew 13:44, I believe. It's a parable that talks about a man who stumbles upon this treasure in the field, and this treasure is so valuable and important to him. Basically, he feels like he'll never find something worth as much as this treasure that he finds. He stumbled upon it because he dug it up. So he covers it back up with dirt or reburies it, and he immediately goes and sells every possession that he had because he feels like all the things that he had acquired in his life basically meant nothing in comparison to what he had just found. But he sold everything that he had so that he could purchase the field so that he would have the treasure. A lot of times when I'm explaining how I knew she was the one or how I knew I was ready, it's basically because that's how I felt when I found Monica. I felt like she was a treasure that was very valuable, very important, something that I never thought I would find again. You know, I felt lucky that I found her now. So I felt like I was ready. I was ready to go all in. I was ready to give up all of whatever I had, even though I didn't have much, but my youth, my time, you know, whatever, you know, to put myself in a position to be with her. Early on in our relationship, we did a lot of talking. A lot of late nights just talking, and more talking. One of the things that I picked up on was that Monica was carrying a lot of hurt from her previous marriage and just other things in her life. I felt like she was too awesome of a person to be this hurt, and I wanted to give her the kind of love that I felt that she deserved because of how awesome she was.
When I met Anthony, the year was 2001. I had started a second job. He worked there too. My first impressions of him. So I don't remember my first impression because one of my earlier impressions was like me asking him what his name was. And he was like, you already asked me what my name was. I already told you. So it was like, oh, apparently we've had this conversation already. So some of my earliest impressions of Anthony was I found him very interesting. He was fun, but I noticed like as we worked together, I noticed ladies making passes at him and him like not responding. And that wasn't something I was used to seeing in a guy. So I found that very interesting. Also, he was very bold. So I was 25 and he was 20. And he would say these things to me. Like he would make passes at me or whatever. And it's like, look, young dude, are you talking to what, you know, like what is happening here? So I just found those things interesting. But I loved that he was fun. So we became friends, started hanging out outside of work. I found him refreshingly honest. I really liked that about him. He was very candid. You know, I could ask him something and he would like give me the answer, not beat around the bush or nothing. Even if it was one of those weird, hard answers, he would give it to me. So I thought that was really cool. I appreciated that. As we spent time together, our relationship developed into like a closer relationship. I remember feeling like I could fully be myself with him. Like whoever I was or whatever I was going through or whatever that day. If I was happy, if I'm in a fun mood, if I'm in a silly mood, if I'm sad, if I'm angry about something, if I'm just really broken, I could express myself fully to him and was always accepted. And I really appreciated it. And I think I really needed that during that period of time. It was like he was my friend. He was a good listener. I was just sharing a lot. I had been married previously and I had left my marriage. And so I had a lot of stuff to get off my chest that I didn't feel comfortable talking to my family about and whatnot. And I was able to talk to him because it was like, he was like a judgment-free zone for me. And so I would talk to him and I could feel real comfortable like telling him anything, which was really cool. We bonded and our relationship became romantic because like he was great and he was cute. During that, like the dating and whatnot, I do remember, you know, me just feeling like one day he's gonna be like, because he was so adamant. He was so adamant that he wanted to be with me. And it was like, you wanna be with me today? Or, you know, like you're infatuated right now. Because he was very honest. Like you could tell what he was saying was what he felt. So I just felt like, yeah, but one day you're gonna wake up and say, you know what? I don't want to be that tied down and go find someone else your own age. So, you know, I was trying to keep it light, but he was not. He was very attentive, very understanding to things. Like that offended him, but it didn't make him go away. I could see his commitment. Like I could just see his commitment in there. He was always there. He was always there for me. He was like this little piece of calm in my life. I felt like during that time, my life was kind of chaotic because I had left a marriage and, you know, people in my family don't understand and, you know, I don't have anyone really to talk to but him and just the different facets of that. And he was a place of calm for me. Like I knew when I spent time with him that there wasn't going to be any drama or any awkwardnesses, or I wasn't going to feel like, you know, that like I had to be guarded or watch what I say or anything like that. He was just a place of calm for me. Here was this 20-year-old guy, and he had a nephew. His nephew was the same age as my youngest daughter at the time. And he would spend his evenings hanging out with his nephew. He would hang out with his nephew while his sister went out. And I just thought that was so interesting. Like his friends would be upset with him because they wanted him to kick it or whatever, and he would hang out with his nephew. He loved his nephew. He loved spending time with him. And so he would choose to stay in and hang out with his nephew. He was very nurturing with his nephew. And then with me and my girls, he was very nurturing with them as well. He was very good with them. And so that was just a very interesting dynamic to me, that he was so close to his nephew. And he is, to this day, loves his nephew, his first nephew. And so we got very, very close, kind of fast. Like I feel like our relationship advanced really fast, and we navigated some rough terrain during all of this, and we just got closer. By the time we were able to get to the altar and get married, I just had this overwhelming feeling of understanding that this was going to last. I remember feeling that. I remember realizing that as I was saying my vows. My eyes welled up with tears, and it was really nice. Our little private wedding. It's a very interesting journey, he and I, but I regret nothing about it.